Hey everyone! So for this week's NaNoWrimo video, I'm going to be doing Kristina Horner's NaNoWrimo Video Tag. NaNoWrimo Tag Video! Exclamation point! I do like the idea she's trying to convey in the video, wanting to spread the word of NaNoWrimo to everyone else in the world and try to get some more people interested in it, so that's my main motivation here. Another reason why I'm doing the NaNoWrimo Video Tag is because it's halfway through the month and I'm feeling a little slow. I'm behind in my word count as usual. A lot of the lustful motivation to get started with NaNoWrimo and do it has died down over the past few weeks, and there's a lot of drudgery going on, so I'm hoping that discussing my NaNoWrimo experience will help me get motivated to keep going for these last 2 weeks. The truth is that I actually was planning on writing 90,000 words this month, because it's a trilogy of novellas and they'd all be 27 to 30,000 words each. I've just been finding a lot of holes in my stories that are going to require research or a little bit more thought than 1 month can provide. So the first question is, how many times have you done NaNoWrimo? I've done it once already, and technically I'm doing it right now, so once? But at some point this video is going to be old, and presently I've only done NaNoWrimo one time, in 2013. And of course I'm participating this year, in 2015. Question 2. How did you find out about NaNoWrimo? I'm not sure exactly how I first found out about NaNoWrimo. No one I knew was doing it. I must have just been browsing the internet, and it came up on Wikipedia or something, because I'm always looking up ways of how I can improve my writing and how I can expedite it and make things easier and more interesting. And NaNoWrimo came up, and I'm pretty sure I knew about it for a few years before I actually decided that I was going to do it that year. Question 3. What is the name of the first novel you attempted with NaNoWrimo? That one was called Artist Age, or Art Age, or we'll go with Artist Age. Question 4. Give us a one-sentence summary of what you're working on this year. I'm working on a trilogy of novellas that is sort of a character analysis of this girl named Hananya Lan, who suffers with depression and suicidal tendencies, and is also a graffiti artist in New Orleans. Question 5. What's the best writing advice you've ever been given? I really have to think about this one. Probably should have thought it before I started shooting the video. I would say, oddly enough, Nike's slogan is probably the best advice. Just do it. Yeah, I wish this was an endorsement. But seriously, just doing it, just sitting down and getting the words out. It's the most important part. And it's what sets writers apart from people who think they want to be writers, or who pretend to be writers but never actually do anything. Question 6. Did you ever take a year off NaNoWrimo? Why? Yes, I did. Last year, 2014. I planned to do it in 2014, but the thing was that I only had a vague idea that I wanted to revise a novel I'd already written, and the time came and I pretty much forgot about NaNoWrimo entirely because I was caught up in my job. I was working full-time at this bar on Bourbon Street, which I still work at a year later. Holy shit. And I remember too having a really chaotic living situation at that time, and definitely not being in a really good place and not achieving a peaceful state of mind or clarity. Fortunately, I do remember I was working on some projects during that era, and those really kicked up towards the end of the year, and my production went really, really high up during 2015. And I feel like I really made a comeback this entire year from that really rough period in my life. Question number 7. What's your biggest inspiration when figuring out what to write? So for this one, I would have to say it's this fundamental idea, and it's very Nietzschean, but I believe that life, not to sound emo, but life contains a lot of suffering. And suffering is something that we experience and that we take in. And I think writing, art, music, any sort of creative field is actually the inherent process of turning all the suffering that we take in and essentially converting it into something beautiful, something useful, something that makes you happy, something that gives positive emotions, something that was worth it. That makes that suffering worthwhile. Not necessarily something that takes suffering away, but takes some of that suffering and does something useful with it, which would be like the opposite of depression, in my opinion. Question number 8. Read us one sentence from one of your novels. Alright. This wouldn't be George's last time wearing makeup. That was actually during NaNoWriMo 2013. Nice. Question number 9. Why do you love writing? Well, besides the reason I gave earlier that I think it's suffering turned into something beautiful, I just love all the possibilities that come with being a writer. And this is both something that happens in reality and in whatever fictional universe I've created. There's just so much you can do with writing, and I have so many ideas for projects and stories I want to do. Honestly, at this point in my life right now, I'm 24. If I was writing for the next 30 years, I'd probably have all the ideas I want to do now finished. But that doesn't even speak for the ideas that I am going to come up with over the next 5 or 10 years. It's always been such an immense joy for me, and it's always helped me when I was having a hard time in life. It's also given me a sense of purpose, that I want to give something to other people that they can read and enjoy and learn from and become better people.